Hello and welcome to this recap of part 11 of our ongoing series, Building a Website from Scratch with Python using Django and Wagtail CMS. This code series has been hosted on the Codebuddies.org platform. Codebuddies is a global community of code learners who help each other through conversations on Slack and peer-to-peer organized study groups and virtual hangouts. There are several community channels: Slack, the forum, we're on GitHub. The Codebuddies.org platform is open source, Medium publication, and a YouTube channel. We host these hangouts so we can code together and teach and learn and collaborate. And there's tons of study groups. There's dozens of them, many different topics, anything you could think of almost. JavaScript, Python, PHP, web dev, Ruby, Django. There's a whole bunch of them and varying levels of number of users and how often they're active. But if you join up, you can help them be more active. The technologies we're using in this series: Python language, the Django web framework, and Wagtail content management system. The project we're building is a website for a nonprofit called Western Friend. It's the official publication of Quakers in Pacific, North Pacific, and Intermountain yearly meetings. These are large bodies of Quakers in Western United States, hence the name Western Friend. In today's episode, we built a user authentication flow using sort of out-of-the-box capabilities Django provides, writing a few HTML templates, and making them look nice with crispy forms. So we'll take a look at the code now. I'll hop back over to the site. Essentially, we have been editing a few main files. I'll close a couple of these out real quick just so I can, we got settings and URLs that we kick things off with. The way the system is set up, if you add, like we wanted the URL prefix to be accounts, and everything after that gets routed to the Django contrib auth URLs. Just that one line of code is going to wire up, I think, at least seven different URLs. Log in, log out, password change complete or done. Password reset. These are kind of, the naming was a little bit confusing in some cases, but in any case, like it's an email-based password reset flow, and we'll go through the whole thing in this demo. And this is fully documented on MDN Web Docs. It's a tutorial I followed along with, and part 8 of a tutorial series, user authentication and permissions. And they specifically give you step-by-step guide to setting up your authentication views. So it starts with URLs and a couple of settings in your I'll comment this out while I'm here because it's going to bother me in a second. In your settings pie. So just from the top to bottom, we'll go through these. For this project, I added crispy forms because that makes it really quick for us to get clean Bootstrap styling. We're using Bootstrap 4 in this project, so I just told crispy form to use the Bootstrap 4 template pack. I'm disabling this common password validator because I'm in development environment right now, and I'm going to reset my password during this demo, and my development password is really generic, so I'll re-enable it. But there's a lot of built-in password validators with Django, batteries included. And when somebody logs in, we're going to redirect them to the front page. So there's a login redirect URL setting that we've added. Finally, since I don't have an email server set up for this, or I'm not using an email service, when you reset your password, it's going to send you an email to verify that that's what you want to do, and give you a link to click so that, for security, it makes sure that you're the person who's the account holder. So that's just going to send the email to the console down here. That way I have the link available to me. So let's start with the beginning. I'll log in with my generic password, and that's it. Took me back to the front page as expected. I can log out, and it took me to the front page. Nothing glorious there. And I forgot my password, so I will enter my email. Let me clear this out real quick. So when I reset the password, it sends a, kind of what you would get in your email client with actual headers and everything. Copy the URL. It says, please check your email for password reset instructions. When I click the link in my email, it sends me back here. Oh, darn. There we go. With a new password form. Notice that there are 3 items in this password validation rules that corresponds to the auth password validators list here, and I've disabled the common password validator thing because I'm going to use a really generic one. Here we go. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Super secret. Changing the password. Oh, I need to style that button. I just noticed that. And then it prompts you password. I'll have to clean these templates up a little bit, but that's it. We can log in with my super generic password. So now that you've seen the flow, let's take a look at the code. Basically, it kind of all revolved around the nav bar. That was where I was doing most of the jumping around. What we did here is in the nav bar, the right hand section, we had a new list item there. And this all comes straight out of Django. It's already wired up. We didn't have to do anything. The user is already in the template context. So if they're authenticated, this is a method that's already available on the user object. We will display a welcome message and get their username, display that. And we'll display a link to the logout. These are making use of a next kind of, I guess, query string argument, whatever that's called, which gets the path that you're currently at when you click that button and sends you back to it. That's not as useful maybe on the logout, but when you're logging in, it's going to take you to another page, and you want to go back to where you were, because that page is going to display the login form. So I was following the MDN tutorial, and I believe they had this as part of the tutorial. I'll see if I can clean it up without any, without it kind of messing anything up. Maybe that's so that you don't see a login successful page or something like that. Okay, so the login form, a couple of these are going to be kind of boilerplate. We tried to write as little markup as possible in this tutorial, in this session. So just in general, less to maintain, easier to read. So these are all extending our base HTML so that we have our navigation menu up there. You load your crispy form tags. This is what's going to make the form just a little bit more crispy than the standard HTML with no styling, basically. Browser default style, or the Bootstrap style to some extent, but not quite. Doesn't have the form classes. We put the block content with a header, put a row in there, and a 6 column width so that the form doesn't span the whole page. It was just kind of janky. I could probably make that a little narrower. We had a submit button with Bootstrap styles. That's what I omitted on the other page, I think. And there's this hidden input with the value of next to where it's going to go after this, so it carries that through the context throughout the login process. And a link to the password reset view. All of these names were part of the Django default, batteries included type thing, so we're just using them. So let's see. Password reset, all the template names are also the Django defaults. It's very well documented. I don't have any of this memorized. I was following a tutorial. But every class, each view has its own class, and each class has a template name, and they all have default template names. If you just name them that, you don't have to do anything else fancy. And since I'm not really wanting to touch any of the classes or override them, I'm just going to follow the defaults. And that makes less writing for me later on. If we need to override something, we know where to do it. So you log in. I should probably look at these in order that they did in the tutorial. But, I mean, this is really comprehensive. We got log in, log out. password reset. Let's look at that one. So the password reset form is basically the same as the login form. Everything, you got your same layout, same boilerplate, CSRF token, crispy form. Nothing really changed there. Then this is the interesting part. When it generates that email, it's just an HTML template that's going to put into the body of an email. So basic HTML there, nothing that nothing that an email client wouldn't be able to render. After you click the link, you come back to this password reset where you enter and confirm your new password. Again, CSRF token, crispy form. This has an else clause in case you didn't provide a valid link here. It's just going to show some kind of text to say, please reinitiate that password reset. So either the link maybe has been used, or somebody is hitting random links. Who knows? But that way it'll handle that. So we've got the confirm, and then the password reset complete. Basically, it's just the success message and a login button. Yeah, that's it. There's just these messages, intermediary messages that either prompt you to do the next action or just let you know that it was successful. But that's it. So you've got a full user authentication flow, and the only code we had to write really was these HTML templates, and they're mainly boilerplate. So it was a pretty smooth process. I'm really impressed with the batteries included philosophy of Django, Python, Wagtail, and the documentation has been really great. And the community is so large and well established that there are comprehensive resources, books being written to walk you through step by step all sorts of projects and recipes that come up commonly in projects. It's just a really great developer experience. Okay, well, this has been a Codebuddies recap, and we'll hope to see you around in these Hangouts. You're welcome to join, but in any case, glad you're taking the time to watch the recap. Thank you very much for your time, and have a great day.